friends, we are at video 100. What do you know? I cannot believe I am here. If I'm being honest, I'm actually a little disappointed I didn't get here faster. That's a different story for a different day, and I need to take more opportunity to celebrate the wins when they're here. So let's be celebrating. I cannot believe I am here. Thank you so much for being on this ride of 100 videos all about instructional design and freelancing. I cannot wait to see where the next 100 videos takes us. My first video on YouTube was all about portfolio must-haves. I think it was like 5 things that you need in your portfolio, 5 tips for your portfolio. I thought it'd be fitting for number 100 if we go back to the beginning and we share more about all of your portfolio tips and tricks. This whole month we're talking all about how to get that job, how to land that client, and your portfolio is a big piece for that. Probably need to update some of our recommendations to fit 2023. First mistake I am seeing out there is not having a portfolio. I know for a lot of you, your work is proprietary. Unfortunately, portfolios is a part of the screening process. For many people, they're getting screened out because they don't have a portfolio. So for some, like if it's not in your resume, you're out. Or if you didn't include it in like a link, you know, in some other place, you're out. I definitely understand not feeling like, you know, not being able to share it because all of the work you've been doing thus far has been, you know, behind NDA and whatnot. However, in 2023, that unfortunately is just not an excuse anymore. And here's what you can do with that information, right? So instead of sharing that, oh, I can, you know, in a Zoom meeting, I will share my screen, or I just don't have anything, I can talk you through what I've done. Instead, take some time, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, take an afternoon, and come up with a few portfolio samples. Here's the thing. You have already done the really hard work. You've built the things. You can utilize what you've built as frameworks for other content. Don't feel like you have to start from the complete beginning, complete scratch. Know that you can take what you've done and use that as a framework. So maybe you can't, you know, display the content, but you built out a really cool level 3 e-learning. Well, could you take some of the things that you did in that and recreate it and, you know, take some of those slides, recreate them, and put in some generic content? There is enough generic content out there that is work appropriate, right? It's not like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to help you build up that portfolio. 3 content pieces, 3 to 5 slides. That is all you need to get started. And here's the thing. If you tell me that all of your work has been proprietary, but you built this really awesome portfolio utilizing what you've done at work, I'm gonna be like, damn, you could not share your work, but you took the time, you knew that it was important. You took a few minutes to actually build a portfolio, right? With what you had. And you're giving me a glimpse into working with you. That's gonna be like an extra notch, you know, an extra star on your resume for me because you took the time to go above and beyond and you knew you needed this. You did not let a hurdle, like, you know, proprietary work stop you, right? You didn't let that be a roadblock. You took that roadblock and you moved around it. That to me says really big things. Many hiring managers have been burned by people who say that they can do the work, but they have not been able to truly execute. So being able to showcase that when you do have so many people that have a portfolio sample, it's just not gonna stand out from the crowd. If you're spending the time to look for the job, take the time to set yourself up for total success and create that portfolio piece. 3 to 5 slides, something fancy schmancy, make it a sample. So this one I kind of snuck into our first video of the month, and that was rise, and more rise. So I love rise like the best of them. I think it's like there's the appropriate time and place for a rise. So like, totally get it. However, it is now becoming abundantly clear how easy it is to create a rise sample. So when your entire portfolio is rise, I'm gonna be concerned if I give you a storyboard for a storyline piece because I don't have the rise piece, you might not be able to execute or to the level that I am going to need you to execute at or within the time that we have to execute at. So like, I'm not gonna lie, working for a training agency, you know, as opposed to as an internal practitioner, your time is different. Your time is billable. So you only get a certain number of hours in order to complete tasks, as opposed to like you have your 40 hours and what you do within that 40 hours is what you do within that 40 hours. Like if you have, you know, 40 hours and I need you to create this in 40 hours and it's gonna take you 80, like that's a big problem because that costs, you know, us, you know, time or money, or we just can't pay you the double the time, and which means that your time is cut in half. I need to know exactly where your skills lie and exactly where I can slot you in appropriately. And look, if you're trying to be the Rise specialist where like that's really all that you do, girl, guy, friend, apologies, but like go after it, go do it. Yes, be the Rise developer, specialize in it and really knock it out of the water. I personally wouldn't necessarily specialize in Rise. I would specialize in varying tools similar to Rise. If I was going to specialize in this quick development, not just necessarily one platform, but that's a different story for a different day. I am here for a Rise sample or two, but just don't make it your entire portfolio. So I'd love to hear from you. What tools or techniques or strategies are you putting in your portfolio? Leave a comment down below. Are they all the same or are you including some variety? Here's another mistake that you're making in your portfolio is you're thinking that I'm gonna watch every single piece. I am not. Point blank, period. I don't have time to review every single full piece. So I will look at them generally, but I'm going to look at specifically ones that are going to target what I need you for in the moment, right? So if you have 15 to 30 minute pieces, multiple of them in your portfolio, that's a lot of time times all the people that we are interviewing. And I actually look at portfolios quite a few times. I love to refresh myself. So like when I'm initially screening, before you're meeting with my ops manager, I'll relook at your portfolio, and then before like my interview with you, and then when I'm making my decision. So like I'm looking at portfolio quite a few times. So to look at every single piece for all that time, it's just too much time and just not feasible. Everyone has a ton of their time on their plate. You have a ton on your plate. So do not feel the need to create 15 to 30 minute pieces for every single piece in your portfolio. Instead, take 3 to 5 slides and really knock them out, knock the content out. I've even taken like maybe if I, for a 90-minute module, like instructor-led module, I pulled out like the first section that shows, a content slide, that shows a student activity, a student reflection, like all the key things I want you to know that I take the time in order to put into your instructor-led training, and that is my sample. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about you seeing the entire thing. I'm thinking about what's going to highlight the type of output that you're going to get working with me, right? The type of solution, and that's what I'm going to highlight. Just those things. They don't need to see like how amazing all of your slide deck was. And just like we talked about in the Anchor training channel, so if you're not subscribed there, make sure that you subscribe. We'll leave the link down below. I talk all about a hook, and I talk about how we utilize social media in order to hook people in, right? What we're learning there and apply them to learning and development. The same thing with your portfolio piece. I want you to hook me from the beginning. So make that beginning of your portfolio piece really punchy, really engage me. The what's in it for me. I want to see that you thought about what's in it for your learner when you started that portfolio piece. So don't start off with like, a lull, like start out with a bang, like really go in and go hard. I want you to use your portfolio to tell a story. So often I get this question from prospective clients. Vanessa, how are we going to work together? Well, friend, let me walk you through our process. And that same question you're probably going to get when you are, in the interview process. So you can take that one piece of content and really, or that one portfolio piece and really showcase how you got to that place and what it would be like to work with you, really executing that story. If you have not noticed a theme here, we at Anchor Training love storytelling. If you also love storytelling, give this video a thumbs up. How can you take that one piece of content and tell a story? I want you to start off by thinking like, if I'm going to create this for a client, what are all the different pieces in order to get there? So I may start off with a design document. So I'm going to create a sample design document, a page or so, and I'm going to put that as a portfolio piece. The next piece I'm going to have is maybe a content outline or maybe a storyboard. I'm going to create a few slides of that, and I'm going to then put that on my portfolio. Then I'm going to create the actual 3 to 5 slides or whatever that piece might be, that short piece of content. And then I'm going to put it on my portfolio. And then when I link them all together, I'm not going to just make them like all hang out by themselves. I'm going to talk about how we started from, hey, here's the design and deliverable document. So we start off here. Then we get into the storyboard, and this is what that's like. And then we get into the piece, and this is your final deliverable. So when you work with me, we start with the design doc, then we go to a storyboard, and then we go to the actual final deliverable. So for those of you that are in my Anchored ID process course, we are actually walking through this right now, where we're going through the progression of how to start from a project from start to beginning, and what the students are getting out of it is they're actually getting content pieces for their portfolio, a content map, a storyboard, and their final deliverable. If you want to get on the waiting list for the next Anchored ID process course launch, I want you to click the link down below and we'll get you on that waiting list so you're the next to join us. It is incredible and so much juicy information about how to do the damn thing. Now that you have these portfolio pieces, I, as a hiring manager or a client, I can see how we're going to work together. I can see your methodology, the type of milestones that I'm going to get when we work together. I can really see your story. I can see your process. And really, you can take this above and beyond. Throw in a project timeline. Throw in, a project closeout, like really give that whole story of what it would be like to work together. And make sure you also write a little blurb, like a little case study. Share the client if you have like actual client work that you're sharing, or just the demographics of the client. You don't have to share their name. Share the problem, share the desired outcome, and then share the solution that you were able to provide them and the results because of that solution. That really is going to give me a full picture of what it's like to work with you. And here's a bonus tip. If you did not do the entire thing, right? So like maybe you were just the instructional designer, but another team actually developed it. I need to know that. I want you to be honest when you are putting out your portfolio, because I don't want you to get a job and a role in something that you don't have experience in, and then your reputation is ruined. As large of an industry as instructional design can be, it can also be really small and you don't know who knows who, or who may be connected, or who shows up where, as another hiring manager in the future, or another client that is looking to hire you in the future. Protect your reputation at all costs. Your personal brand is crucial. So if you have not done the motion graphic development work, do not put that on your portfolio and like make it seem that you were the one that actually developed the motion graphics. My next tip is to be intentional about your pieces. Look, can you make a portfolio piece about how to create a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Absolutely. Will, however, I give the extra point to the person after you whose portfolio I'm looking at that actually chose like a topic that's more related to my industry or just more related to work? Probably. There are some easy peasy, lemon squeezy, low hanging fruit when it comes to topics for, your portfolio. Ones that no matter the industry that you're in, you can certainly create content, and we certainly have this problem. Here are a few. Time management, conflict resolution, managing a hybrid workforce, how to use pivot tables in Excel, deal management in Salesforce, email etiquette, customer service techniques. Just there, I was able to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 portfolio topics. Within those portfolio topics, there are so many sections and so many topics within them. You have the opportunity to really think about, what is a good topic that could relate to that hiring manager. When I create marketing content, here is the thing that I'm thinking about. What is a pain point that my ideal client is looking to solve? And how can I solve that for them? How can I be sure in my copy I am speaking directly to that ideal client so they know like, hey, I'm talking to you. I know you. We should be friends. We should work together. I have the solution to your problem. So if you're even able to take these topics and like make them even more specific, so like let's take time management, right? If you want to go work at your like dream is to go work at a sales org, time management for business development representatives is like a really more specialized topic, and probably something that a lot of sales orgs or a lot of orgs with business development reps honestly struggle with, because they kind of like have the attention span of an ant, so much on their plate. So they might actually be looking for it. They may look at your portfolio and say, that is something I need. Let me go talk to Vanessa, because she can maybe help speed up on some of that process and help us develop it a little bit faster. Make sure that when you're looking at your portfolio pieces, you really think about the content, and don't make it so totally out there that it's going to be hard for me to see like, okay, yeah, you can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but like, how are you going to be able to take content that is a little bit more ambiguous, that is a little bit more difficult to, share, that is a little bit more difficult to understand, to really break down? And how can you break down a complex, subject matter into something that's more digestible for the learner? Now look, if you are applying for a job at whoever makes the Uncrustable, then like make that peanut butter and jelly portfolio piece. And if it were me, and every time I get asked this question, I have been asked this question before in a job interview, you want to know what I say? I pull out the Uncrustable from the freezer, put it on the counter, let it thaw at least 30 minutes, and then I unwrap and serve. And that should be your entire portfolio piece. But unless you're not looking for a job with the Uncrustable, let's try one of these other topics I provided you. If you want to know more about why you may not be getting hired, I want you to check out this next video where I go really in depth into why you're not getting called backs from potential jobs. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!